Okay. Final thoughts for Killer Bunnies board game. If you're a fan of the Killer Bunnies card game, you're definitely gonna like the Killer Bunnies board game. So, if you like the card game, you're gonna like the board game. If you never played the Killer Bunnies game before or the card game, you may want to try to see if your friends have the game to see if you like the style. But if you more prefer a board game style game, then you're gonna like this one because it mixes very well the elements of the card game and the board game elements. One thing I'll have to say is that for those that do not like the randomness factor of winning the Killer Bunnies card game, where you're getting the carrots by the choose your carrot cards, they're going to find the fact that you have to physically take your ship into space to collect that carrot before it's yours. And then once it's yours, people can still get that carrot card from you because you still have to drop it off at Jupiter. Once you drop it off at Jupiter, you can take that card, the carrot card of your choice. So you physically don't have that carrot card till you survive in space. So it's more like people are going to be up in your face trying to get rid of you before you even get to your carrot card. So there's none of that, oh, I got to choose a carrot card, I got my bunny alive, I got a carrot kind of thing. This one, you have to earn it. So you're going to be killing bunnies on the ground, you're going to be killing bunnies in space, so you have a more fair chance. And the thing I like about this game is they have things where you can set up the game randomly. You have the planets are random, the carrots are random, or you can have place carrots according to the things. They did a lot of factors where you can change how the game plays. You got different rules that allow you to lengthen the game, shorten the game, whole bunch of stuff to just have a lot of variety. And no two games are going to be the same because when you're in space, after the space phase and everything else, the spaceship aliens move, the planets will then move. So they're not going to be in the same location. So the Jupiter is going to be moved. So if you were trying to get there, you're really close to getting to Jupiter to drop your carrot off, then it moves at the end of that turn. So you really are going to be like doing all that stuff to try to. Thing is, and I really think they did a really nice job with the game overall. Because I think that the fact that people will have a more fair shot of getting a winning game this time around, it's a lot harder to do to get out in space because you have so many factors. You have the ground weapons that can hold your characters. You have to play immediately character cards that will. And the fact that they don't just affect you anymore, if they're not just, oh look, play immediately. I don't have a bunny, so it won't affect me, but your opponent does, so that'll basically affect your opponent. So it's kind of nice. So play immediately ain't always gonna be bad for you. You could draw it and you won't have any of the bad stuff, and it'll immediately attack your opponent. So it makes for a more gut-wrenching feel to it because you're gonna draw that card and someone's gonna see it and they're like, oh, I'm gonna be. It's like, uh-oh. I could be hosed by that card instead of the person who drew it. So it's really interesting. It's like, because you don't know if it's going to say you need to kill bunnies off, spaceship off, lose something or other. So it's always gets you wondering and stuff. The other cool thing about this game is you have these trade markers. Trade markers are really neat. You're allowed to trade anything in the game you want. You can trade, you use a trade marker, and you put the little trade marker on top of the object you're trading, in your opponent's trade. It's not basically part of your hand or anything. You guys can trade at any time. So you could basically tell your opponent, I'm going to give you this carrot card that I have, because you might have 3 carrot cards collected, and you say, well, I don't have a ship, and I really want a ship so I'm not left out in the dark. So you can trade the ship for the carrot cards. You can trade a weapon card for anything. I mean, this game lets you trade anything. And it's pretty nice. It really encourages you, allows people to stay in the game that normally wouldn't be in. So you could say, well, I'll trade this for you just because I know you're not doing so hot, or hey, it's kind of nice. And then the fact that you get the ship movements is determined by your matching your bunnies. It's kind of cool because it still has a flair like you want to match the Killer Bunnies. So instead of getting an extra turn in space, you just basically get to move faster. And in the ground movement, when you have matching a triplet, bunny triplet, you get to take an extra. You do an extra turn, so it's kind of cool. So yeah, the game's really neat. It just, like I said, it has a lot longer length than a normal game, and that could be a drawback to some people. Me, it doesn't matter. But if you're expecting a quick game, that by no means this is gonna be a quick one. Because you may say, oh, 4 carrot markers on the board doesn't seem like a lot, but when you start playing, you realize that you really have a long game on your hands. So when they say, you know, when you have 8 carrot markers on the board, you're looking at a tremendous amount of time being spent. Not boring, but it's just like I said, you're just gotta be aware when you get into this game, you're gonna be expected to spend a lot more time back and forth, destroying each other, blowing people up. The cards are all funny. They're all spoofs of like outer space themed stuff. You got Predator. You got Terminator. Yeah, all these kind of sci-fi and space stuff in the game. It really captured the space humor and everything. So you're gonna be getting a lot of interesting cards. So yeah, that's my final thoughts on Killer Bunnies board game. To me, it's a definite pickup if you're a fan of the Killer Bunnies card game. If you don't mind the extra amount of time spent playing it, and for those that didn't care for the card game, may enjoy it even more so because the randomness of winning carrots just by the choose your own carrot cards is no longer in effect. You have to physically earn them. So those that were kind of bummed out that I got to choose a carrot card. That guy got 3 choose a carrot cards in one game. He automatically is going to win. This one, nope. You have to physically get to that carrot on an adjacent spot on the board, pick it up. So, makes it a lot harder to do it. And then you got to drop it off at Jupiter just to physically claim it. So, a lot of work. But it's a lot of fun. So, that's all there is to that. And thanks for watching. You have a good week.